Hey guys, Dr. Scotty here with the Strength Rebels Rant. I recently came across a new article that was put out by CNN Health. I read this article and I honestly felt sick. I felt sick for our profession of physical therapy, and I have major issues with this. This article was entitled "The Exercises Physical Therapists Know Lead to Injuries." There are many massive problems with this article, and I just want to say that I fully recognize that the media often puts a different spin on the research that's out there. It puts a different spin on quotes from well-meaning professionals that are taken out of context. Having said that, there are several quotes from physical therapists, athletic trainers, massage therapists within this article, even though they just talk about physical therapists, that are extremely misleading and could really do some potential harm related to our profession and the messages that we really want to get out there. I really thought this article was an abomination. I have big issues with it. The biggest thing, well, not the biggest thing, but some of the things out there, the article is laden with errors. I mean, it has things along the lines of having correlation causation problems around muscles not activating. That's another rant for another blog to get into that. It talks about things that are these myths that have been around forever, like the knees going past the toes, and you shouldn't allow that. That's not the biggest problem with this article. The biggest problem with this article is that it is fear-mongering. This article basically says that there are several things you shouldn't do because your body's going to break. Your body is weak, it can't tolerate the loading, and it just shouldn't do this because of all of the potential problems that could happen. This is so not true. This is not the message that we want to get across as professionals. It reminds me a lot of an article that came out about a year and a half ago. Justin Shaganoff from the States had put out an article about 5 lifts that you shouldn't include in your treatment plan, which basically was squats, deadlifts, bench pressing, things along those lines. In the comments down below, description down below, I'll link you to my response to that, where I go into a long research-related blog on really what's wrong with that and the approach there. And so rather than going into that level of detail from a research perspective, I just want to read some of these quotes and just show you how wrong this article really is. Again, this is fear-mongering. We are resilient as humans, and should we be building up our tolerance to things? Absolutely. We should build up our tolerance to loading. We should build up our tolerance to different exercise techniques, but that doesn't mean anything is inherently bad and that our bodies are going to break. Let me just read a couple of things here that highlight this. Talking about bicycle crunches, not an exercise that I typically recommend in a lot of cases, but that doesn't mean it's bad. As exercises drop in and out of abdominal flexion, losing their muscle tension in the midsection, the low back gets wrenched in and out of extension with little support. Twisting at high speeds is a recipe for herniated discs and muscle spasms. Complete fear-mongering, incorrect. Bent over row, if you're bending at the spine, not at the hips. Being in that much lumbar spine flexion can cause a disc to displace posteriorly, potentially hitting a nerve. Hinging at the waist also causes your shoulders to roll forward, which can contribute to poor posture. Again, fear-mongering, a misinterpretation of what we know from a biomechanical perspective. These things aren't inherently bad. Are we going to correct technique? Potentially, but that doesn't mean that the exercise is bad or that it's going to cause injury. There's really no evidence to suggest that. Talking about RDLs, Romanian deadlifts, as another example. Most commonly, a person will fall into hyperextension. That's sick. Should be hyperflexion through the low back while lifting and lowering weight, which could result in lumbar disc injury or spasm. We'll leave that one there. Backward medicine ball toss. It's never a good idea to forcefully rotate your spine backwards. This one is, I think, the most dangerous quote that is in this article that we need as a profession to stuff out this type of talk, this type of thinking, this type of message to our clients. There are so many small and delicate discs in the back that can herniate with the slightest wrong movement, so anything bending you backwards should be done slowly and with serious caution. Completely the wrong message. We want the message out there that good loading can build up tolerance, but looking at situations where technique might not be perfect, you're not going to explode. Your spine's not going to explode. You're not going to break. All right? This is not the message that we want to be putting out as a profession. Am I saying that technique isn't important? No. Technique is absolutely important in my opinion. But in certain circumstances, we need resilience in terms of what we can do from a movement perspective. And I don't care if your spine is bending, flexing, whatever, if you're doing your general daily activities and it feels all right. We need to be able to develop that resilience. When it is important is when you are lifting heavy loads for building tolerance and building capacity, building a functional reserve. This is strength training. Yes, technique is important in strength training if we're trying to enhance function and improve function. Okay. One of the things that I really believe is that if we are enhancing our performance of the exercise, we need good technique. That can prevent technique breakdown, which may lead to injuries, potentially, but it's not a specific cause. So we do want to be exercising with good technique, to have good performance in that technique, but that doesn't mean an injury is going to happen. And we do not want to tell the lifter or the client the message that technique or poor technique will potentially lead to injuries because they're so broken. Guys, we want people moving, we want people exercising, and if a little bit of a technique breakdown happens, that's not a major issue. Just get them lifting, get them strong, and avoid this fear-mongering.